record and just there you go. Hey, everybody. So excited to have folks here. I'm Chris Twiggs, Hardrock board member, 17-time Hardrock finisher, and guy who is really excited to welcome you folks to a conversation about our course conditions. I'm joined here in person with Trevor, who is our course work, was it course work coordinator? Trail work coordinator, and Brett, who is our actual course director, and we were actually all three in the same place together earlier today, but Brett had to abandon us and head down to Durango and work. He said he had to work. So anyway, really glad that you're here. Dale Garland is here, of course.
Hi, everybody.
The run director. Very glad that you're here, Dale.
All right.
And Dale, I don't see your camera on. I
I
don't
was
know if
going to
that's on
say, we
purpose.
just had a conversation and you
There we
didn't even,
go.
yeah, there you go.
There he is in all of his glory. So we have a number of questions that have been submitted to us to answer with regard to course conditions and the Hard Rock course. However, you may not have entered a question when the email went out, but you might still have a question. So if you would please type something into the chat. Dale has promised to monitor that for us so that we can make sure all of your questions are answered. As I mentioned, Trevor and Brett and I were together earlier today on one part of the course. We've all been out on different parts of the course already, and we'll continue to be getting out there over the next couple of weeks before Camp Hard Rock officially begins. And we are happy to talk about what we're seeing and what we're expecting. I am going to jump right into the questions that we have. And the first question I have, I'm going to change slightly. Brett, this question asks, how will the course be marked? I'm just going to start with, will the course be marked?
The course will be marked very carefully, is how it will be marked.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, yeah, good question. We will start marking the course just for background. We'll start marking this year on July 6th, and we will mark on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then a little bit of troubleshooting on Thursday. The idea of doing it as close to race date as possible is to try to minimize course markers getting knocked down, getting eaten, getting run over. So we want to put those course markers up as close to the race date as possible. I do have some visual aids here I can show you guys as far as how the course will be marked. My camera's not that good, but anyway, what you'll see out on the course as far as markings, we've got these nice orange vinyl ribbons with reflective tape on them. So if it's below tree line, if there's trees or shrubs available, we will be hanging these orange ribbons with the reflective markers off of those trees, shrubs, fence posts, old mining relics that are out there on the course. And then above tree line, we've got these aluminum stakes with reflective markers on them. We'll use these primarily above tree line or in meadows where there's no place to hang those ribbons. All of this stuff does have reflective properties, and so they'll pick up a headlamp really well in the dark. As far as there's no hard and fast formula for marking the trail. We don't put a marker in every quarter mile or every 1/10 of a mile or anything like that. I will tell you that over the last couple of years, we do use about 1,000 course markers out on the course. That does not mean that there's 10 per mile. There's some miles that you will have 20 markers if there's a lot of twists and turns and a lot of options. There'll be some miles where you're on a dirt road or you're on a trail with no really forks in the road. There might be 2 or 3 per on a mile like that. So we will place these markers throughout the course. If there's a turn coming up, we will place the markers on the side of the trail where you will be turning. If you're getting ready to make a left turn, we'll put about 3 markers just before that turn to kind of get your attention on the left side of the trail, and then a marker or 2 just beyond that turn as a confidence marker, letting you know that you did make the right choice. Like I said, there are sections of the course that will be very sparsely marked. Those are parts of the course that are very straightforward and intuitive. I always like to use as an example Camp Bird Road. You leave the Governor Basin aid station, and you got about 6 miles or so until you turn left onto the perimeter trail in your array. For that 6 miles, you might only see about 10 markers, and those are just going to be confidence markers. So there are sections that are going to be sparsely marked like that. The road from Burroughs aid station down to Sherman, once again, you're going downhill, you're on a road. The road, there's no real forks in the road. We're not gonna put a lot of markers down there and for overkill. But yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
And of course, you just gave an example of a sparsely marked area where I mentioned I got lost a few years ago. I actually did get lost on Camp Bird Road.
Hey, Chris, I think now what might be an appropriate time to put in a plug for the course orientation hikes.
I think that's a fantastic idea. I am really excited about the course orientation hikes. Everyone is invited to go on these. We are starting on Thursday, the 25th of June. And we will be hiking every day from the 25th through the 3rd. The last orientation hike we will do will be on July 3rd. So you can enjoy the 4th of July with your family, your crew, with your other Hardrock friends, and then roll right into all of the other events that are happening for Camp Hardrock. The first hike that we're doing on the 25th will start at 7 a.m. at Silverton School. So we're going to start off just like we're going to begin Hardrock, and we'll be doing the first section. The entire list of where we're meeting, when we're meeting, and where we're going is in the runner's manual that you guys all have heard about and have access to. So you can follow that. And if you have questions about anything specific, you can email me, chris.twigs@hardrock, what is it, hardrock100.com? That's it. And so feel free to reach out to me about those things. I'm really excited about those hikes. And I want to emphasize, this is not just for people that are in Hardrock, not just for people that are on the wait list. It's also for your pacers. It's for your family members who would like to know what that section of the course is going to look like before they come through, all that stuff. So it's a easy hike. I saw a comment go by about a great way to taper for Hardrock. It's going to be a nice, easy hike, and it is absolutely optional. You do not have to go on these. If you're out here now, get your butt out and start hiking these things yourself if you know the course. So, but yeah, absolutely excited to have people come and learn the course through those course orientation hikes. Thanks for mentioning that, Dale.
Yeah. Can I put in a quick plug too?
Plug away.
Yeah, on the same subject. Also during Camp Hardrock week on Thursday morning, I always do a course talk over at Natalia's in Silverton. So that's another kind of last chance if you've got questions about course conditions. Hey, I heard there's snow up on this section of the course. That Thursday morning is a great opportunity to get some last minute up to date course conditions and get questions answered, whether it's about crewing, travel times from aid station to aid station, things like that. I will be there on Thursday to answer last minute stuff.
Absolutely. And you'll be talking in detail about the course, but then also any significant changes I'm sure you'll be mentioning during the mandatory runner briefing that happens on Thursday.
You bet.
Good. So on to our other questions. And this is a conversation that we were having earlier today, the three of us. And Trevor, I'm going to ask you your opinion. Someone's asking, we knew this question would come up. Someone's asking about water. So number one, what's your recommendation for how much water to carry? Two, are there places where people can reliably get water and filter it while out on the course?
So, fantastic question. And this year is going to be especially tricky with the water because we don't know. For those of you who've been paying attention, it's a historically low snow year, kind of maybe. And Right now, the snow is hanging on up high, but it's melting pretty fast. I think the 30th of May, the Little Giant Basin was snowed in and dangerous, and people couldn't go over the pass from Cunningham to Little Giant. And then a week later, everything had all melted out. So we really won't know how reliable the water is on course until towards the end of the month. Um, with that said, I think it's a good thing to plan on having about a liter of water every hour. So depending on how fast you're moving through aid stations, that'll help to guide how much you're carrying. Um, on a
Yeah,
personal
you
level,
know,
I'm kind
the
of
rain and stuff,
anticipating
yeah,
carrying about 1.5
needs
liters.
the filter directly.
I'm planning on carrying
In the
1.5
boat,
liters of water, and then
and, just flicks.
having a water filter available. Pretty typically, there's
Organized
water
for
available on course, but we
like
can't make
Hardrock
promises this year about what they'll be.
group outings.
Jeff Rome, did you have something to add to that?
Nope.
Jeff?
No.
Hi,
Okay.
sorry. I didn't realize I was not on.
Yeah. Okay. No worries. I wouldn't have been surprised if Jeff had something to add. I know Jeff has been out there, so I don't want to silence Jeff if he had.
Jeff probably has a lot more specific knowledge about it than I do.
Yeah.
So I think towards the end of the month we'll know, and then you can kind of course orientation hikes will start to have a much better sense of how much water is on course and whether filtering is a viable option or if you'll need to be carrying more water between aid stations.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to be carrying more water this year than I usually do, just because of what I've seen when I'm out there. Dale Garland, we have some questions
Yes,
that fall into your category, and so I would love to ask, and I don't think this is going to happen to anybody on this Zoom, but theoretically, hypothetically, what happens if someone has to abandon their attempt at a remote or non-crew access aid station?
Yeah, good question. Good question, Chris. I'm glad you asked that. Yeah, we hope that we have 147 starters and 147 finishers. That's our goal. But we know things happen. And if someone does have to abandon their effort at a non-crew or a remote aid station, I think they need to be mentally and physically prepared to potentially sit for hours. I mean, literally till we can get either they recover if they are past the cutoff time, or we can have somebody escort them out, or when the aid station closes. And so if they have to abandon their effort, it is something that we hope doesn't happen. But if they do, patience will be the virtue that we will be emphasizing at that point.
Well said. Well said indeed.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Again, if you guys have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. I'm just going to continue with the ones that were submitted in advance. And I'm wondering, since Brett, you've got obviously an encyclopedic knowledge of the Hardrock course. So I'm wondering, and somebody else is wondering from based on this question, what would you say are the most difficult sections of the course in this particular direction? We're going clockwise this year. What are the sections that you say are going to be the hardest for people?
Okay. Yeah, it's a good question, and there's some obvious things that jump to mind, but it's also can be a little bit relative to the person and their skill set and their comfort level. The things that I'm sure people are familiar with are Grant Swamp Pass, which we will be descending the steeper side of Grant Swamp this year. That's a steep and loose descent. You probably know it by reputation. And so that's a part of the course. I'd say as far as technical skills, it is, as I said, steep and loose. I probably wouldn't wear my best running shorts on that section, or might you might lose a good pair of shorts on the backside. So Grant Swamp is an area you might want to take a look at, and check your confidence level of descending that. The other section is a really spectacular section of the course, which is Kroger's aid station this year, the descent down from Kroger's into Governor Basin. That section of the course historically holds a lot of snow. This year, that remains to be seen. As everybody knows, we had a low snowpack, so there may or may not be snow on that descent out of Kroger's aid station. If there is, our aid station crew up there will typically put in a rope or a fixed line there just to help kind of hang on to guide you down there. It's not, don't be worried. It's not rappelling or anything like that. That rope is just for confidence. You can just sort of use it as a guide to get down those steeper sections. But I would also add, as far as what sections of the course, if you have to pick and choose what to preview, I always encourage people, if you project your personal splits and what time you think you'll be running, is to preview some of those sections that you think you'll be hitting in the dark, either yourself or your pacer if you don't have time, because things look much different at night. So if you look at what you project your times to be and your splits to be, and you're like most people, you're going to be going over handies in the dark, that might be a good place to go up and check out and kind of familiarize yourself with that terrain that you're going to be hitting after dark.
Yeah, good idea. Any other sections, Trevor, that you can think of that people would want to be, if they're going to go out and check out, if they have to pick and choose where they go?
Mm-hmm. I think for sure the two Brett mentioned are the ones that always come up as being spicy sections of the course. I think that for a lot of people, though, I don't know if it'd be better or worse, but maybe checking out the last climb out of Cunningham, because that's a bit of a bear. And then going down the far side of that into Little Giant Basin is also some rock hopping. So maybe being ready for that, because that'll be something you'll be hitting on tired legs, or just, maybe you don't want to know anything about it and just tackle it when you get there.
Ironically, that's one of the climbs that's not named for a bear.
But it's the only one.
but I think you may be right. And I was talking to somebody just a day or two ago, and she was talking about doing 100, not Hardrock, but doing an ultra in any case, and being really glad that she had previewed the last section, because it gave her some confidence toward the end. She knew how long it was going to take to do that last section. Also, I think you're right. Doing that last section is a really good idea. So very, very good. Dale, back to you for another administrative question.
Sure.
And this is actually a great question. I'm glad people are wondering about this. What are the correct and appropriate responses to other user groups when I encounter them on road sections? What other user groups could there possibly be besides Hardrockers?
Well, believe it or not, everybody, believe it or not, and you will hear me say this from now until July 10th. There are people who are recreating in the San Juans who may not know about Hardrock. And I know it's a weird concept, but we've done our best to publicize and to educate people about what's going on through social media, through interacting with the different Jeep and side-by-side and four-wheel drive groups that are in the area, and that are in that area. So I think my basic advice is be the best ambassador for our sport and for running that you can be. And be that way, and don't expect everybody to know what you're doing. So you have your crews, be conscious of these people, get off the roads when they're waiting for you at an aid station. But I would take this time to educate people about Hardrock, and don't be somebody who thinks that the San Juans belong to you, because they don't. They belong to all of us, and everybody has a right to recreate in their own way. and we're working very diligently and with Jimmy Keene and San Juan Mountain Adventures and other trail user groups to make sure that everybody is aware that we're we're there, but still treat people with respect. And I know there Jimmy is working, he's messaging his groups, and the other trail or the other four-wheel drive groups are saying, they're going to work to get off the road so they're not kicking up a bunch of dust as they go by and that kind of thing. So that would be my advice.
Very good. Thank you very much. Um, yeah, well said. We want to be nice to the people we come across, and hopefully they'll be nice to us as they come across us as
Exactly.
well. Um,
Right.
I don't know if this is going to be an issue this year, but I definitely understand why somebody has this question. And Brett, maybe you have some inside information or not. Somebody's asking the best way to deal with sheep or sheepdogs. Are we going to be coming across sheep this year when we're out there? I know wild sheep we might, bighorn sheep, you never know. But
Right.
domestic sheep that are out grazing and the sheep dogs, are we likely to come across those this year?
Unlikely to come across those. They have not been issuing the permits that they have in the past for the
Right.
grazing up on that section, those sections of the course. So
Okay.
you're more, as you mentioned, Chris, you're more likely to see bighorn sheep, moose. There will be some four-legged encounters, but probably not herds of sheep or sheepdogs. So
Good. Good to hear. Dale, is it still true? I heard a rumor that if we manage to get on a bighorn sheep and ride it around the course, that's authorized.
That's authorized.
Okay.
If you can convince the bighorn sheep to go where you want it to go and stay on course, you're a better man than I, Chris Twiggs. You're a
It
better
would
man
be
than I.
freaking amazing. Indeed. Indeed. Um,
But I would say, any kind of human animal interaction is probably something that the animals are trying to avoid as much as possible. Yeah.
true enough. True enough. Someone's asking, and Trevor, I know you've been out on a few different sections, so you may have some advice here. Do you think there's going to be a need, and if so, where, for crampons or microspikes?
So if you had asked me a month ago, is there going to be any snow on the course? I'd have said absolutely not. But as we're getting deeper into June and pieces of snow are hanging on, maybe. I think that definitely if you're previewing the course, you should expect snowfields up in the Wasatch Basin above Telluride, and then near Virginia's Pass, where we were just talking about earlier. Those areas still have snow, and I don't know. I don't think that crampons will be necessary. Most of us will be going through those sections in the heat of the day. So we should be able to kick steps in. And I don't think there'll be snow on the rest of the course other than potentially those two sections. And even then, wouldn't shock me if it's all melted.
All right. Um, in terms of our course and following the course, Brett, someone would love to know, what should they do if they go off course, realize it, and don't want to get disqualified?
will never happen. No one will get lost. No, simplest thing to do if you realize you're off course is to retrace your steps to where the last course marker that you saw. Do not try to, go as the crow flies, like, oh, I think I should have gone down, down this way, or here's a road and it'll take me to, where the course is. So retracing your steps to the last course marker is your best course of action.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'd also love to remind everyone, even if you did Hardrock last year, there will be some small changes, and we're going in a different direction than last year.
Mhm.
And if it's been a year or two since you did Hardrock, and certainly if this is your first Hardrock, don't assume that you're going to recognize the way to go right away. So look closely for those course markers And also take advantage of that GPX file, right? We're going to have a GPX file that people will be able to download. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, sir. Yeah. So yeah, download that GPX file and practice knowing how to use it, and whatever app you choose to just having the file. Sometimes it doesn't do much if and I speak for myself. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not the most technologically advanced. So I'm talking to myself here, but yeah, just having the file doesn't do much if you don't know how to use it, and to use your app of choice, your navigation app of choice.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, so don't run this thing by memory or by feel. Um, Trevor, I know you live out here in Uray, and it feels like a situation you've been in before. Do you have advice for people if they get caught in a lightning storm while on course?
Um, getting caught in a lightning storm is really tricky, and this is I it depends is probably the best answer. There are definitely things you shouldn't do. Don't grab find some aluminum poles, hold them above your head. But a lot of it, I think, depends on where on the course you happen to be. Um, the Knowles publishes some best practices. And if you really want to know, you should go check that out, because that's going to be a more authoritative source than I am. However,
Hey,
you
Heather,
get
Trevor,
what was that?
can you say that again? Can you say it again? What some people for our
Yes,
audience that may
sorry.
not know what Knowles
National
is.
Outdoor Leadership School, and the Wilderness Medicine Institute published some more authoritative statements about what to do and best practices in lightning storms, and I can provide right here. But I think that if you're on a ridge, get down if you can. And the general statements, if you're in trees, that you want them to be uniform height. You don't want to be standing under the tallest tree, because that will be a vector for the lightning. And you don't want to go into cavities in the rock if they're a certain depth. And Chris is going to give the Hardrock 6-point overview right now.
Yeah, the 6-point overview that you'll find in the course manual. If you are in an area, or sorry, if you're with a group of runners spread out by at least 50 feet, it says that's very important. So you should probably carry a tape measure with you to make sure you're a good.
Ideally, like a steel one, so you can just like hand that out.
Put your feet together, which is going to be hard to do if you're 50 feet away from each other. Maybe it's just put your own feet together. Crouch slightly, minimize contact with the ground and other conductors. So it says stay on the balls of your feet, cover your ears, touch your elbows to your knees to give current a path to flow other than through your torso. Unless you've got that written on your arm, you're going to have a hard time remembering that probably. But I think what Trevor said about just try to get down, get away from it, is the best bet. And if you're close to that aid station, stay there. We've got plenty of time to get from one aid station to the other. The 48-hour course limit is there not because we want people to take 2 full days to do this, but because we want to have time built in case people do need to hunker down someplace. Is that right, Dale?
That's correct, Chris. That's correct.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much.
Appreciate that confirmation. Here is another procedural question, and this may be more of a Dale question, honestly. What is the recommendation if someone does become lost or injured to the extent that they're not going to be able to continue, but they're not at an aid station?
Each runner will have a satellite tracker that we will supply, and as you'll pick up at runner check-in. And you'll hear me say this again and again. Please bring your hydration vest or whatever you're wearing to runner check-in with you, so we can fit you with your satellite tracker. On that satellite tracker, there'll be an SOS button, And so if you are injured or in distress, you can hit that SOS button, and that will at least let us know where you are so that we can send out our search and rescue units to get you.
Hmm. And we know it works.
We know it works. Yeah,
Absolutely. While we've got your attention, Dale, don't go away.
certainly.
Don't go
I
away.
won't.
Here's another Dale question.
Yeah,
Can you explain, and we'll explain this again when
again
everybody's
and
here in
again.
Silverton,
Hmm.
but can you explain the Chapman Gulch and Eureka staging guidelines?
Correct. Yes. Two things. And Chris, exactly. And thanks for bringing that up. Because you'll hear me say this again a couple more times, and it's in the runner's manual. Chapman Gulch aid station sits off of one of the most traveled four-wheel drive passes in the San Juans, and that's Ophir Pass. So what we have asked everybody is that there's no crewing, no spectating, nothing at Chapman Gulch, at Ophir Pass, at Chapman Gulch. You're going to need to have your crews go to the designated parking in the town of Ophir. They're aware of us. They have a place for us to park, that kind of thing, and then walk back into Chapman Gulch. You can be there. I mean, the crews can be there and that kind of stuff. We just don't want cars and people spectating and parking on Ophir Pass Road. So, so you need to go into Ophir, make plans for that, and then hike back to the Chapman Gulch Aid Station if that's where you want to go. Eureka is something we implemented last year, and it worked really well when we were at Animas Forks. And you should all know now that we have moved back to our original aid station in that area, and that's Grouse Gulch. And what we will do is we'll have a staging area at Eureka Campground, across from Eureka Campground, and there's be a porta potty and there's a little store and that kind of thing for your crews to go to, and that's where they should stop, and they'll be equipped with Starlink and everything. They'll be monitoring all the runners coming over Engineer Pass from Ouray. And so when you, as a runner, hit a place we call O Point, that's going to activate them being able to go and meet you at Grouse Gulch. Grouse Gulch it's somewhat remote. It's cold. There's no cell service. There's nothing there. So it's better if you stay in Eureka or even in Silverton, and then make your way up there so you're not standing around at Grouse Gulch for hours and hours and hours because it gets really kind of uncomfortable. It's a major aid station, but it is something that we would prefer that you stay at Eureka until your crews stay at Eureka until you get O Point. You will have plenty of time from O Point. I can't remember what it is. The fastest time between O Point and Grouse Gulch is like 75 minutes. And so and you're going to be there in plenty of time. Your crews will be there in plenty of time.
Absolutely. So we definitely encourage crews to go to
Hmm.
both of those aid stations,
Hmm.
Chapman and Grouse. Just
Yeah,
we want you to, if you're going to Chapman, park at Ophir, and if you're going to Grouse, wait until your runner is going to be getting close. You don't
right,
need to be there too early.
right. Well said, Chris.
Yeah,
Well said.
just summarizing there.
Yeah, thank you.
So thank you very much. Um, I don't know. I'm not sure. This is written down as an advice question. So, Brett, I'll ask you. You may have a good answer for this, or you may not. But somebody is asking where they might be able to camp high on BLM land near the course, specifically to help them with acclimation or acclimatizing to the altitude. Do you know, Brett, where they can? I know we know there's camp Hardrock, or there's the camping Hardrock that happens in Silverton, but obviously they're talking about remote camping someplace up high.
Um, Places I would suggest, Silverton gets pretty full in the immediate area around Silverton. Mullis Lake and Little Mullis Lake, kind of towards the Durango side of Silverton, would be good places to go. You're up at almost 11,000 feet there, and it doesn't attract as many of the kind of Silverton specific people. So those would be a couple places. Even Lime Creek Road, which is also that same direction, kind of south towards towards Durango has dispersed camping on Lime Creek.
Mhm.
Um,
South Mineral Creek, potentially.
yeah,
South
South Mineral
Mineral.
Creek. If you go further up South Mineral, those lower campgrounds fill up quick. But if you head up towards the Mendota Mine, which is kind of at the far end of that road, if you have a higher clearance vehicle, up there would be, some higher elevation camping too. But I don't know if the Ouray residents here, you guys might know some places over on your side that I'm not familiar with.
You could scope out the county roads off of Red Mountain Pass. That would be another
Mhm.
option. Those roads are usually in pretty good shape, at least early season. So you might be able to take a lower clearance vehicle in. And there you'd be above 11,000 feet.
Ironton, is there camping there?
Ironton will be crazy, especially if I would not recommend Ironton, just because it's such a busy place. A lot of people set up RVs, things like that, for the week around the 4th of July. So that would probably be a difficult place to find camping.
Okay.
I would look to go a little bit more remote than that.
Great. One more question, and we kind of covered this earlier, but I didn't cross it off because it was asked separately. Brett, is there any specific section of the course, if somebody's going to pick up an extra bottle of water, an extra soft flask of water to carry with them, is there a section that you would say, here is where I want to have my extra water?
I would geographically no. To me, it's more a time of day issue. We've had some really hot years recently at Hardrock, and middle of the afternoon, regardless of where you are on the course, I would make sure you're stocked up with water heading into the afternoon, early afternoon period. So, like I said, I can't really geographically pinpoint a spot, but it's going to get hot. Even though you're at 10,000, 12,000 feet, it's going to get hot.
Yeah.
It'll be later in the day, but I would say the climb from Ouray up to Engineer Aid Station might be slow going for a lot of people. And if there's not a lot of water to filter, that could be a place you'd want to have some extra water to carry.
Yeah. Good advice. Yeah, but we're hoping it won't be as hot as it has been some years, but hope is not a good way to plan anything.
Not a good training strategy.
Yeah, hope is not a good training strategy. Exactly. Well said.
And I would also kind of, if you don't, I'll just go back to kind of what Trevor was mentioning earlier, and that is with the ability to filter water on the course. I would, kind of stay in touch on our social media, Hardrock social medias. The course conditions are changing so rapidly, as far as water availability on the course is kind of, we'll try to continue to monitor that in the next month. But I would kind of like check in on our Hardrock socials. We'll keep up with how much snow's on the course, how much water is on the course, because it makes me think of Pole Creek. If we're really low on water, Pole Creek could be an area where there's not much water available to filter. So, so as I said, it's a dynamic situation this year, as all years.
It is. And so toward that end, if you are already in the San Juans, or if you're going to be here soon and you're out doing some hikes, make sure that you let us know what you're seeing out there, in terms of water, in terms of snow. And Trevor, I imagine you'd love to know if they see something that needs done in terms of coursework too.
For sure. And I think at this point, if you had trail condition reports, you could just send me an email at trevor@hardrock100.com. And then we can filter those out and get them to socials if there's just like water, snow conditions, but then trees are down, areas that you think maybe need some extra work, extra focus as we go in to the trail work season. That information is always wonderful, and it definitely helps to make the planning easier. So we appreciate your help with that.
Yeah. One area I know there's already been a ton of trail work that you had nothing to do with is Bear Creek Ouray.
Yes, which apparently, just if you're in the San Juans doing training, Bear Creek Ouray, they are doing a ton of work, and depending on when you go there, there might be temporary trail closures. I was up there the other day, and there was a sign saying there might be delays up to 45 minutes. Dynamic situation. I can't make any plans or promises with that, but be aware there are workers on trail right now, and they're doing a wonderful job eliminating some areas that were nice and sketchy. So,
Yeah. Yeah. A little less wild, slightly less tough, but we'll try to add in some more wild and tough
mhm.
stuff somewhere else to make up for it.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm looking. I'm always looking.
I know you are. I know you are.
Hey, Chris, can I add something
Yeah, of course.
to those of everybody who is training and especially during the mud season, what we call the mud season?
Mhm.
It would be we know we don't want to carry extra mud on our shoes and we want to keep ourselves as clean as possible. But please do not create social trails. If there's a way around it, don't continue to go around mud puddles. Don't go around things like that, and create erode things to erode. That just damages the whole trail system. And so if it means you're going to have to kind of get your feet wet or get them muddy, that I think that's the price to pay for being an ultra trail runner kind of thing.
We were joking this morning. One of the questions that we thought we might get asked was if there was a way to how to keep your feet dry when you're running
Uh-huh.
hard rock. And my advice is stay home.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
But I
could
know
be
I
a
know the
year.
BLM and the Forest Service, anybody would really appreciate not having to
Yeah.
go in and repair trails because people were skirting mud puddles and things like that and creating erosion problems.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I'm at the end of the questions that were submitted to me, and I haven't seen anything come through, but I do want to just kind of go around and start with Brett. Brett, uh, anything that you want to make sure people hear from you as course director, as hard rocker, as someone who's just been out here or wants to see everybody succeed? Any advice that you'd like to give at this point?
Yeah, I mean, if you have the luxury of coming out to Silverton early enough, there's nothing like previewing, hike. You can go nice and slow, do the course orientation hikes with Chris, but getting your eyes and your feet on the course, there's no substitute for that. And as I said earlier, also keep in touch with us and on Hard Rock Socials, just because conditions are changing. And it's the San Juans are still a wild and tough place, which means we have to sometimes make accommodations and make last minute changes to, it's a rugged area out here, and sometimes we have to make some minor changes in order to make this race happen safely, and we will do our best to communicate those to you all.
Great. Trevor, what do you have to say for yourself or for the good of the folks that are
So
watching?
we got a question coming in.
Okay, we'll answer my question.
And
Kieran.
so I'll answer the question first. I'm just delaying because I don't have a good answer to that. I think it's have fun and know when to slow down and take the trails easy because they are rugged out here, and especially when you're first coming to the altitude, it's good to really ease into the rugged sections of the trail.
Mhm. The question that came in, are there any
That was
resources?
from our chief timer, Kieran.
Okay, Kieran, are there any resources for trying to find out where water can typically be filtered on the course while training? I don't think there's a list of
Uh,
water crossings. If there was a list of water crossings, it would take you all night to read it.
So what I would recommend doing is take the GPX topo and upload it to your favorite mapping software. Turn on a layer of one of the probably I'd use the U.S. Forest Service layer, and you'll get a sense from that, but you can't count on it. I think right now, pretty much everything's running.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say pretty much everything's running right now. 2 weeks from now, it might not be. But that if you want to know how to start determining where there might be water on course, that's the tool I would use.
Your first opportunity is just a couple of miles out of town as we're crossing South
Yeah.
Mineral. And I did hike that section. I hiked with a few other folks. We went from Silverton, went over the first few climbs up to Grant Swamp Pass, and there were multiple spots where you would expect them on the first climb, in between, after you've come down before you get to KT, and on your way up to Grant Swamp Pass, several places in those first half dozen miles to gather water and filter, which we did because it was a hot day and we wanted a lot of water. So, but yeah, there's not a particular.
Did your feet get wet?
My feet got wet. Absolutely. Not my, I will say my feet got wet. My calves did not get wet. So,
which is unusual.
Especially on that first crossing. That's our deepest crossing. But yeah, the same thing.
And you're not the tallest of individuals.
I'm a short guy. That's true. The water crossings on Bear Creek, Ouray, all of those were there as well I've done that twice since I've been out here. Again, not super deep, but they're there.
But I could see those.
That may be the section that
drying out.
Yeah.
By race day, and so that there's really only the larger ones come race day.
Yeah.
Depending on when the monsoons come, if they come.
Dale, what advice do you have, or what other information do you have to give to our wonderful folks?
Well,
today?
Chris, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about a few of these things. I have in my notes just a couple of kind of not hints, but things as runners talk to their crews. I mentioned the satellite tracking. Everyone will have one of those. The course, sometimes the transmission of data gets a little wonky or it lags. So as you're talking with your crews, and they'll be able to see you move through along the course, but tell them if they don't see you moving for a while to be patient, because sometimes it takes, the satellite data will update, but it may lag a little bit.
Yep. Good tip.
The other thing is, remember everybody, that for you to qualify for your swag entry at the runner's briefing, and we've got a lot of good swag to give away at the runner's briefing, you need to complete level 1 of Leave No Trace. And then be able to tell San Juan Mountains Association that you know the 7 principles, and that you can talk about what they are.
And
that's how you get your name. That's how you get your name in the drawing for
might also remind people, I know that the message went out, but I'm noticing there are a few people that don't have their service forms turned in.
Yes. 11.
Yeah.
I was saying, I'm going to count it, but Dale already has counted it.
Yeah.
I'm watching that list like a hawk.
Yeah. I actually recognize some of these names. So yeah, folks. I mean, I'm sure the people on the wait list wish that we weren't mentioning it, but that is something that if you didn't get your check and make sure that you're
because sometimes it goes, you give it to a race official or something at the race where you did, or you did some trail work and you gave it to the person supervising the trail work or whatever, and you assume that they sent it on and they emailed it to service.forms@hardrock100.com, but we never got it. So it's probably, if you're one of those people, check and make sure that the little green square means you're good.
Well, thank you very much. I just love to say that you're here on the screen, you're looking at 4 guys that really want every single person that starts in Silverton on July 10th to finish and kiss that rock under 48 hours. And so that's why we have done these panel discussions the last few months. That's why we'll be doing more talks during Camp Hardrock. It's why we do the course orientation hikes. And as many of these things as we've encouraged you to take part in, I know there might be some people that are nervous, your first Hardrock, and you're concerned that you're not going to be able to do the orientation hikes, or you're not going to be able to get up here and acclimate all of these things. And I just want to assure whoever that is that feels that way, that you qualified for Hardrock. That's Hardrock saying, we think you belong here. We think you can do this. And yes, there were thousands of people that didn't get pulled in the lottery. The same thing is true. They qualified, and we think that they belong here, and we hope that someday they're going to get the chance to do it. But if your name is in this run this year, you belong here, rest assured, and we want to see you in Silverton.
Twice.
Twice.
At least twice.
At least twice. Thanks so much.
And I just ordered the finisher shirts today. So there you
And
go.
you ordered enough.
I ordered
for everybody.
147 of them.
There you go. Enough for everybody. That's fantastic. Thank you all so very much. Thank you, Dale Garland. Thank you, Trevor. Thank you, Brett. And thank everybody that is here.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for doing all these.
My absolute pleasure. My absolute pleasure. It's the least I can do, and I can always be counted on doing the least I can do. So I'll talk to you guys later. We'll see you all in Silverton. Thanks.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.